Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Paradise Sacred Sanctuary on Zoom that is also extended to Facebook Live. Today is June the 13th, 2021, and we are here every Sunday in our spiritual sanctuary to deepen our relationship with God, the true essence of our being, to deepen ourselves in faith, to have a broader and deeper understanding of the spiritual laws in which this universe operates, and to come into alignment with that through that relationship that is deeper and stronger and full of more faith and inspiration than anything we will ever face. And so it is a wonderful opportunity to be with you. We have a special guest live, a musician this morning. Give us a wave, Daniel.
Good morning, everybody.
And we have played a couple of Daniel's songs, some of his YouTube videos or on Facebook a couple of times. So I'm just really excited about being able to have him here with us today live. So we're going to open our service this morning with Rod Loomis, bringing us in consciousness. We'll then have an opening treatment. And before you sing, Daniel, I just want to say a couple words about you as an introduction. All right. And so we begin.
I invite you to open your hearts and listen to this with your hearts. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. In the midst of the children, God said He would be. It doesn't take very many. It can be 2 or 3, and they feel the same sweet spirit that I felt oft times before. Surely I can say we've been blessed by the Lord. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place, this place, this place.
And so we come together this morning in the recognition of that infinite presence that is the very essence of unconditional love. That love of the Spirit that gives of itself because it is Spirit's nature to give all that it is by means of its creation. And so I know that this power, this presence, this unconditional love, this harmony, this wisdom is right here this morning in this very room, at the center of each one of us. That there is a collective awakening to the idea that God is and I am, that in truth there is no separation from this love, and that our spiritual journey is one of awakening, deepening, and accepting that this is the ultimate truth of our very nature. And so I know this morning that there is divine harmony, wisdom, love, answers, openings for each one of us that are here. That we feel a deeper sense of being anchored and grounded within ourselves and as a spiritual community. That we are open and receptive to releasing what no longer serves us, to opening our hearts and our minds to the idea that the presence and the power of this infinite nature of God is active and present in every single aspect of our lives. And so there is a deep acceptance and a feeling of gratitude that unfolds by means of this experience. We are able to let go and let God, that infinite presence of unconditional love, the divine source of harmony and wisdom, to unfold as our lives in perfection and love and joy. And together we affirm, and so it is. So before Daniel sings this morning, he's going to grace us with two different songs. And before that, I just wanted to share with all of you that Daniel Nahmod has been around New Thought and religious science. Daniel, how long has it been?
It's been well, I was pretending to be a computer programmer in Chicago in 1996 or 7 when I got a call from a minister from a religion I'd never heard of asking if it was true that I played piano, and if so, would I come and sing a song and play piano for his group, which turned out to be about 12 people in a little rented hotel room in Evanston, Illinois, near where I was living,
Okay.
where I grew up. And so that was and that turned out to be a religious science church, which I assumed was a cult. I had no idea what it was. I just knew that after I'd been there for an hour that they were very, very nice people, and they asked me to come back every week, and that was the beginning of singing for a group, for, like I said, an organization, a theology. I don't know what you'd call it, a philosophy, really more, that I'd never heard of, and I discovered that not only were they some of the nicest people I'd ever met, but they also never, over the next year and a half that I played for them every Sunday morning for $50, and sang a song and started writing songs for them. I discovered that they never once asked me to sign anything, say anything specific, pay anything, even join anything. They just greeted me warmly Sunday after Sunday while I was sort of moving out of this computer programming career, which was I was pretty good at, but it was the wrong. It was a dream job in somebody else's dream, and so I was sliding out of that life, and in the interim was this lovely group of 10, 12, 15 people in that room who every week said I was wonderful and gave me a hug and applauded and accepted me just as I was. And that was my first experience with a religious science group. And you and I met then after I moved to LA, and was first smuggled in by a friend of ours, a friend of mine, Suze Ogden, who was singing that year at the Asilomar Conference grounds. And she said, "Danny, I'll get you in. I don't know what you're going to do there, but I'm going to get you in." And she found me an empty bed, actually in her room with another woman who I still love and am friends with. And you met me on the steps, right, of the administration building, where I had nothing else to do. So I had this guitar that I had recently bought and couldn't afford and still can't. And I sat down on those steps and just played Stevie Wonder songs and my own songs or whatever. And Suze did smuggle me on stage a couple of times in that first Asilomar, and I played a couple of my own songs. And the invitations started to go sing at religious science churches around the country. And so how many years ago is that? That's 20.
Well, I know it's more than 25.
No, it's 20, it's 90. It was 99 that I was at Asilomar for the first time. So that's
Okay.
23 years ago.
Okay. All right. And the thing about you, Daniel, is that on the deck of the what we marveled at, everybody, is that we'd come out in the morning, or like walking to the big narrow hall for the conference, and Daniel was singing on the deck before him, and we would come out 2 or 3 later and he was still singing, and then we would go to lunch and he was still singing, and we'd come out of lunch and go to a workshop and he was still singing.
I had time on my hands. What can I tell you? What can I tell you? Yeah.
And so it was, you could not, your calling and your passion and what was being expressed through, what was coming through you was so, it was so apparent that it was more than you.
And it has, honestly, it's nice of you to say, and 2 things. One is, it's amazing still to this day how many people come up to me and say, "I remember you singing on the steps of the administration building." So I know that you're not exaggerating in the impression it made, because really to this day.
Yeah.
And second of all, you're absolutely right. There's not, as a computer programmer, I was phoning in my job. I was doing a decent job, barely, and getting paid too well, and so on. And if I'd stayed in that job, Lord knows how much money I would have, given that I was at the beginning of the computer whole. I mean, if I'd moved to California as a programmer, oh Lord, I would have the college fund of my son's dreams. But since quitting that life and doing the musical life, which you saw me right at the dawn of, I have overflowed with a ridiculous, it's a complicated life, and it's not always easy. It's a lot of work. It's not glamorous, but the joy and the fact and the music really truly overflowing from me, that has never stopped, has never been faked. It's a real thing, and you're right. It's an unstoppable force inside me. I could not quit if I wanted to, and I sometimes do want
Well,
to.
you are, so the topic for this morning is what's evolution without love? And you are a beautiful example of that.
Thank
So
you.
without any further ado, we'll stop chatting and let everybody else just enjoy hearing you sing.
Okay, fair enough. Here we go. Stopping chatting is not my specialty. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. About lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. About lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Ready, say, swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I had offered to sing a little something quieter into our meditation. So I'm gonna, if you'll indulge me, let's prepare for that experience with a little bit of music. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning, here and I'm seeing life so clearly now. If you know it, want to sing with me? Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. I'm diving in. Again, get ready. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. I'm diving into the deepest kind of love. To the deepest kind of love. The sweetest kind of life. To the sweetest kind of life. Get ready. Get ready, my soul. Get ready. Get ready, my soul.
Thank you, Daniel, for that beautiful invitation to present moment heart opening. I had a Tibetan teacher that used to refer to the place inside where you feel tenderness and loving emotions, and he referred to it as your soft spot. And this soft spot can be felt as your spiritual heart, beneath all the toughness and the defensiveness and the layers of experience. And to reach the sweetness, you must become familiar with it by opening the doors of your heart and tuning in and listening. So I invite you to gently close your eyes, to take some full breaths and feel your body calming, coming into presence. A relaxed sense of stability and presence and dignity. And for the next few moments, to let go of any thoughts, your plans, your lists, your doing, and to just relax into present moment awareness, freeing yourself from the tug of the outer life and contacting the love that is waiting within. Feel the weight of your body in the chair and the pull of gravity connecting you with the energy of the beautiful earth beneath. You might imagine a line running through you from the center of the earth up into the sky so that you feel both rooted and uplifted. And just enter the grace of breathing, the turning points where the rhythms of life transform into one another. Breath flowing in, filling and filling. Breath flowing out, emptying and emptying. Your body becomes a vibrating field pulsating between fullness and emptiness, grounded and open and receptive. Become aware of the sensations of breathing in the area of your heart center, in the middle of your chest, and be aware of your spiritual heart as a space. The heart is pure, unbound spaciousness, a point of awareness where feelings enter. And imagine your breath flowing in and out of the center, pulsing in waves, riding on the breath. Mind dissolving into heart, heart dissolving into space. Beneath all of your thoughts and feelings, waiting for the waves to settle, is love. It's the deepest well of your being and the essence of who you truly are. The supply is infinite, endless, ever renewing, like a stream of fresh, pure joy. And with each breath, feel the fullness of love that is you, infusing every cell of your body, radiating within you in every direction and out from you in ever expanding spheres. You might notice a simple warm-heartedness, or just a presence, or a color or a vibration. Just be aware of these feelings and sensations along with the sensations of breathing in the area of your heart. And as you rest here, that river of love replenishes you in every way, with creativity, compassion, vitality, wisdom, and joy. This well of love at your center enables you to remain calm in challenging times and to serve all beings in increasing ways. This vibration of love lightens your spirit and sustains you and everyone around you, multiplying itself through every breath. You're breathing love, and as you are being breathed by love, freedom and expansion replace any sense of limitation or restriction. As you feel the spaciousness of pure love within. Breath after breath, grounded and loving. Now, imagine that with each nurturing and nourishing breath, you are wiping away any dust or dirt that is covering your heart. Knowing that in this moment, in receptive awareness, nothing is missing, nothing is wrong, and all is well. Resting into this natural wakefulness, a growing sense of calm and clarity. And a feeling and trust in your underlying true nature as a natural wakefulness, a goodness, a peacefulness, uncovered, unhindered, secure, and sorrowless. Deep in the center of your being, there is an infinite well of love, and you now allow this love to flow to the surface. It fills your heart, your body, your mind, your consciousness, and it radiates out from you in all directions and returns to you multiplied. And know that you can touch this place in your heart at any time. In each pause before action, before words. So now gently return your awareness to that physical sensation of the breath and the rising and falling of your chest. And feel how after the beautiful music and the time of connection, how receptive your heart feels. You might bring your hand to your heart center in gratitude for the knowing of your limitless love. And as you re-enter your day, do so from this place of connectedness and love. You can gently blink your eyes open and smile, a genuine smile, for you are love. And you can imagine that the light shining from that soft spot of love in your innermost luminous heart touches and awakens that luminous loving presence in the hearts of all beings. And this is cause for great celebration and a reason to dance. And so it is.
I have to say, Molly, that's one of the loveliest meditations I've heard in a long time. Really beautiful. And thank you for setting up my little song. So I came to the fork of a river, and I didn't know which way I should go. I had no map, no compass or driver, precious little information to show. It can be hard in this life to make decisions, and it's an altogether common thing to fail. But as I surveyed my current situation, I decided to just go ahead and sail. There is no one way, there is no foolproof plan, no fateful final chance. I just wake up each day and do the best I can, and when I hear the music, dance. I confess I get confused quite often. Seems sometimes I hardly ever get it right. But I think life's about just facing fear and trying, so I'll just point my little boat towards the light. There is no one way, there is no foolproof plan, no fateful final chance. I just wake up each day and do the best I can, and when I hear the music, dance. So whatever you're facing, just remember this: that control you've been craving cannot be. Just take a long deep breath and surrender it. You'll be alright, you'll see. There is no one way, there is no foolproof plan, no fateful final chance. I just wake up each day and do the best I can, and when I hear the music, dance. There is no one way, there is no foolproof plan, no fateful final chance. I just wake up each day and do the best I can, and when I hear the music, dance. There is no one way, there is no foolproof plan, no fateful final chance. So just wake up each day and do the best you can, and when you hear the music, dance. When you hear the music, dance. When you hear the music, dance.
you so much, Daniel. I know that everybody is on mute, but they're applauding you. I know you need to leave. And today, to go visit and take some good cheer to your brother
My
in
brother's
the
in the hospital.
hospital.
Yeah, he'll be okay, but he's in the hospital, so I'm gonna go
Yeah,
visit.
yeah.
So thank you, everybody. It's really lovely to even remotely visit you all. I'm in Orange County, by the way, down south here, and but it's just nice to sing for you today. Hope you've enjoyed.
Well, speaking for everyone, very much so.
Good.
And hope you come back again.
I would be glad to.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Christine.
Just wanted to take a moment to go look at the gallery view instead of the speaker view that we show on Facebook. So did you enjoy that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, came over very good sound, and yeah, our maiden voyage. So between Molly's meditation and the actual 3 songs that we got, oh my goodness, I'm having to kind of refocus my mind here for a second or two, because there were just so many things that I could jump off of to begin my message today. There was something in one of the songs, I'm not sure which one, about the soul's calling, and Daniel spoke to that also in in his own journey being a computer programmer. And being, the universe found a way to tap into him. Somebody told this little religious science church about him, that he was somebody nearby that played piano, and he liked to sing, and he showed up, and he kept coming back, and that his soul was calling, and he answered the call. And over the time, over those years that he talked about being with them, that evolutionary process continued to take place within him. And he talked about the fact that he wrote so many songs during that time. And what makes it such a beautiful personal experience, and one that we can resonate with, is that evolutionary process of his soul calling was met with love. So the question for today, in the theme of your soul's calling you, the question is, what's evolution without love? The soul's calling is our own personal evolution. And since what we believe in this teaching of the science of mind, that as above, so below. So the evolution that is taking place at a universal level, a spiritual level that is invisible, is expressing itself through all of its creation. And that includes all of you. It includes me, and it includes every individual on this planet from the beginning of time and all the way into the future evolution. Evolution is the very essence of spiritual love. And I was reminded of something the CSL Chico started to say kind of as a mantra in saying, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Chico. That's a spiritual community. But then taking it one step further, which is what we do, we personalize everything in a good way. And we say, I am a center for spiritual living. I am a center of spiritual living. I am a center for spiritual living. And my soul is always calling me. Molly's meditation reminds us to ask ourselves, are we listening? Are we disconnected or are we connected? And yes, we become disconnected at times. That's part of the process because we're spiritual beings having a human experience. But what isn't intended to be part of the process is that the human experience takes over and overrides what is really going on spiritually, which is the evolution of our soul's calling. And we move back and forth between making conscious choices. Because I know I'm a spiritual being, first and foremost, because of my spiritual practice, because of my study, because of what I really, really believe, then I make the choice to connect with that, to open to it. Now, during the week, in our meditation, either Tuesday or Thursday, Reverend Larry was on with us, and we were, well, I don't remember what was happening. I don't remember if it was before our meditation or after, but he just came out with a biblical story from Daniel. And I would like to share it with you because it's very appropriate to the topic. And before I share it with you, thinking back to last week's talk about pain, that pain can be the perfect fertilizer. And sometimes that fertilizer doesn't smell too good. That pain is a wake-up call, that pain and suffering can tell us that we're missing the mark. It can just awaken us to ask, to be reminded, I am a center of spiritual living. And that we can use pain as an opportunity. Once we remember that pain is not a punishment, it's an opportunity for us to evolve. It's an opportunity for us to go, what am I believing here about myself, or about God, or about others, or about evolution? And that we can actually let that journey of discomfort, we can let it be a pathway to returning to our center for spiritual living and to listening to our soul's calling. So we have mountaintop experiences, and we also have experiences in the valley. And when we wake up, we begin to tell ourselves about our big God, We tell our little problems about our big God. Instead of telling God about our great big problems. So in the book of Daniel, it talks about these 3 young men that were called to see the king. And these young men were Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And the king had given them little jobs in their township. And he called them to his place of location. And he did not request, he required that they bow down to the golden idol. And the 3 of them, right off the bat, refused. It's interesting to note that they didn't argue, they didn't fight back, they didn't appease the king. They just said, no, we're not going to bow down to the false idol because we believe in the living God. And so the king said, well, you know, you're going to be thrown in the fiery pit. And so that is exactly what is happening. The king had them thrown into the fiery furnace, and it should have killed them instantly. And the king was curious for some reason. There must have been a seed of doubt that was planted in the king, in the absolute solid reaction of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And he walked over to the fiery pit and he peeked over, and he saw these 3 guys jumping up and down, and the flames had actually lifted up to the top. Now, in my imagination, and this had to be some kind of science in the day, but this is kind of a little bit getting off topic, but I am a religious scientist. So anyway, they're down in the bottom of the pit, but the flames had lifted up. The king couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe their attitude that all was well. And it's interesting to note, in going back to the story, that these 3 young men said, we know that our God will deliver us, but even if he doesn't, we're still not going to bow. They were saying, all is well if it goes our way, and all is well if it doesn't go our way. So it made me wonder. It made me think back and think current about what are the things in my life right now that I'm in the practice of spiritual mind treatment about. Affirmative prayer. And in the recent past, and back even further, remembering what are the things that I treated for a long time that did not come to pass. And the further that I look back, the realization that I began to have was that in my soul's calling and in my evolutionary journey, I wasn't quite ready. But the desire and the practice of spiritual mind treatment was getting me ready. for my soul's calling. And I thought of that this morning when Daniel was sharing about being a musician and being called to this little church and all the years that he was there getting ready. And I don't think he would I don't think that he would say that, you know, he's there. But what has unfolded for him and the joy and the gifts that he articulated a little bit about what he's experienced along the way, so worth it. He'd never give it up. He'd never go back. He knows he made the right choice. But has it, you know, if he was practicing spiritual mind treatment, is he all the way there? Probably not. So in our journey, we have that opportunity to realize that we are really called as religious scientists to practice spiritual mind treatment. Now, I want to take a minute before I go any further with that to share with you move this down here. So what's evolution without love? I think that we've had this morning some really good examples of that. And we know that because spirit is love, unconditional love, and the process of evolution that is giving of itself, that evolution really can't be separated from love. But we, as individualized beings, we can choose to not see love in evolution. That's a question. That's a rhetorical question that we can always be asking ourselves in our personal journey and in what we see going on in the world, what we see going on in terms of the global environmental health, dishealth, lack of health of the planet. And the way to return, Louise Hay tells us so succinctly, deep at the center of my being, there is an infinite well of love. Sometimes that infinite well of love initially feels like a fiery furnace. It wakes us up and it asks us to look more deeply. Okay, there we go. Didn't know how to change that. So a definition of evolution from Ernest Holmes. Evolution is the awakening of the soul to a recognition of its unity with the whole. And that's from the Science of Mind textbook. When I look at this, one of the things that comes to my mind is that this is our process. We are the ones that are awakening. Evolution in and of itself is the very essence of love. And evolution does not go backwards. Evolution does not even go forward until there is a spiritual consciousness to embody it. Now, in nature, evolution is moving faster than we as human beings can keep up to it. And so I think inherent in that is this idea that we can wake up to it, that it's already encoded within our being. But if we're staying lodged in the problem, we're not asking the right questions. And that can be for our own very, very personal journey of individual things that we're going through, but it can be more on a global stage as well. Are we asking the right questions? Are we looking in the right direction? Are we recognizing that if there's a problem, that the answer is already within us? We just haven't awakened to it yet. Maybe we're not asking the right questions. And so the aim of evolution is to produce a human who at the point of his objective thought may completely manifest the whole idea of life, may bring unity to the point of particularization, finding nothing in the spiritual law to oppose it. Now that's a mouthful. The aim of evolution is to produce, is to unfold through you and I, a human being who at the point of our objective thought, our choice, may completely manifest and allow the whole idea of life in our experience. And finding nothing in the law to oppose it. God and I are one. And lastly, God has already done for us in a mechanical way all that God can do. And having been given the ability, we will have to do for ourselves the rest. And we can begin by simply saying to ourselves, I am a center for spiritual living. Now, what I was going to do this morning, but don't have enough time to do, and so I'll do it next week, is I was going to go through those 3 quotes and point out how each one of those is a step of spiritual mind treatment. And talk a little bit about how spiritual mind treatment is the most powerful, the most important tool, spiritual tool that we teach for changing our consciousness, for connecting with that inner voice, with our soul's calling, for opening and recognizing that calling is the truth of who we are, and it's also our oneness with our Creator. And this is the reason that Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego could say, all is well, even if our God does not save us. Because they knew that they were one, that there was no separation, and that the life that they truly are is a life that is forever evolving, and that they would continue to have livingness, that they would continue to have their consciousness, to have their being in God, one with God. It would just be on a different plane, a different level of experience, because the Bible tells us, in my Father's house, there are many mansions. In the consciousness of the Father, the Spirit of the Father, life is eternal and infinite and ongoing. And that in that life, we always have a sense of our own personalness within God. So I leave you this morning with two thoughts. I am a center for spiritual being. And no matter what is unfolding, and no matter what the outcome, all is well. That God is in charge. All is well. That the infinite nature of spirit is always love and wholeness and perfect divine right action. And when we get with that attitude that all is well, we become a channel for the loving evolution of our spirit calling. And all we have to do is show up and dance, to live and to love. I am a center for spiritual living, and so it is.
And now it's time for our giving, our offertory, whether it's by check or on Givelify. Hold the consciousness of your gift, your treasure at your heart center. And let's repeat our offering quotes 3 times. I give joyfully with a consciousness of abundance. I give joyfully with the consciousness of abundance. I give joyfully with a consciousness of abundance. And so it is.
And so knowing all of the gifts that we have received and recognizing that the gifts, the donations, and all of the giving this morning are expressions of God's love and a recognition in our own lives of all of the abundance that is around us, in us, and through us. And so we place an awareness of abundance upon our giving. We let go of any judgment, and we allow our monetary gifts to be infused with evolutionary love, with the idea that spirit is calling and moving through each one of us in all areas of our life, in our relationships, in our financial well-being, in our creative expression, and in our health and our wholeness. And so we give great thanks for this opportunity to be together this morning. We release it into that infinite law of mind. We know that on every level of our life that all is well and that things are continuing to evolve and grow and expand into greater and greater livingness. And we accept this with an attitude of gratitude. And together we affirm, and so it is.
And so it is.